You and a lot of others like you have been dabbling with these notions, especially in the sports world. They know about positive mental attitude. They know about telling it the way they want it to be. But we want you to use the resources that you were born with, this magnificent emotional guidance system that lets you know in every moment whether you are allowing your desire to become more or whether you are preventing your desire to come more. And the way you feel in every moment is the indicator of whether you're allowing it or disallowing it. So when you're discouraged, you're not allowing it. And when you're ornery, you're not either. And when you're disappointed, you're not either. And when you're mad at somebody else, you're not either. And when you are resentful, you're not either. When you're feeling sorry for yourself, you're not either. When you are happy, you are allowing your desire to progress. When you are feeling appreciation, when you feel interested in something. So sometimes, Esther said this to us in the beginning, well, if it were different, it would be easier for me to feel better. And we say, we know that, but that's so conditional. And it's not only conditional, it's conditional in a way that will never work for you, because that's like saying, give me what I want to create so that I can be happy about having created it. And we say, you got to be happy or you can't create it. So most humans run around this planet and they look at what others have created, and instead of it bolstering them and making them ecstatic about the potential of their own creation, instead they feel jealous about what that person has created, or mad at them for taking too much of the pie. Like there is one big old pie and you're all just chopping it up, and if somebody gets really good at pie getting, then the rest of you are deprived from it. And you develop whole civilizations and government processes that say, oh, well, we're just going to take all this pie back and we're going to divvy it up in equal little pieces, and we're going to give everybody their equal share of the pie. And we say, and some will take their piece of the pie in appreciation, and it will grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and they will thrive beyond measure. And others will be so upset about the paltry little piece of pie that they got that they will feel uncomfortable about the crappy little piece of pie that they got, and their pie will not replenish. So we want you to know that this is a seminar about pie. This is a seminar about getting into that place where all things that you want will expand. We want to talk to you about tapping in, tuning in, turning on to this vibration of who you really are, so that you stay consistently in the replenishing mode. When you're in the replenishing mode, that means you never get tired, you never have enough kind words to give to someone, you don't feel depleted, you've got enough energy to go, the ideas keep flowing, you don't worry about somebody taking your ideas or stealing your ideas or misusing your ideas, you don't worry about them getting your pie, because you know there's more pie coming. It's in the oven all the time. There's more pie, there's more cake, there's more of everything that you want. Everything that you want is in the becoming stage. You have come to be the vibrational discoverer of it. And so that happiness that you felt when that desire came into your conscious awareness, that's not just the first step. There have been many steps before that, but that's the first step in you realizing how much fun it is to turn these thoughts into things, these vibrations to thoughts, and these thoughts to things, because you are the creator of your own reality. No one else can do it for you. No one else can put you in the receptive mode. Esther said to Jerry one time, you make me so happy. He said, that's not my plan. She said, okay. Alrighty then, never mind. He said, I don't want to make you happy, but I don't want to get in the way of your happiness either. Because he understood even then that your happiness is an inside job. Your happiness is about your relationship with who you really are. You came into this body and you're mixing it up and you're launching these rockets of desire, and you are vibrationally becoming. And the larger part of you, the source part of you, we've been for years calling that your inner being, has expanded as a result of your life here in this body, and has a vibrational frequency going on because of who you always have been and because of who you now are being. That non-physical part of you is a very strong, largest part of you, and law of attraction is responding to that vibrational state of being. So as you launch these rockets, you have no choice, if you want to feel good, other than to vibrationally keep up with the rockets that you've launched. And when you think about it, the worst you ever feel is when you know you want something and you think you can't have it. That's such a flawed premise, because that is never ever true. Once it has come into your conscious awareness, it's a slam dunk. How long it takes is up to you, and how much willingness you have to sort of stifle those negative words when you feel like speaking them, and find another way of saying it until you feel better. Reach for the thought that feels best. Reach for the thought that feels best. Practice. The first book that Hay House published for Jerry and Esther, it's out on the table, it's called Ask and It Is Given. Has 21 processes in it. Every one of the process we wrote so that you would understand how to close that gap, no matter where you are in relationship to what you want, how to close that gap. So what do you want to talk about? Nothing's off limits. We're eager to talk to you about whatever matters to you. We see our best advantage to you in helping you close that gap. We also think that it would be a fun thing for us today if you could realize, as a result of the conversations that we're having, how a good feeling thought turns into such wonderful things, and bad feeling thoughts turn into such not wonderful things. It's just the law. You just can't get around it, and nobody's thinking for you, only you. So if you want to, when we're visiting, it's up to you. We won't demand it from you. We might attract it from you. I think it might be interesting for you to realize, and let others realize it too, when something that you're living isn't the way you want it, what thoughts you were thinking that caused that manifestation. Because every manifestation comes as the further becoming of some thoughts that you have been thinking, for you and everyone else. What do you want to talk about? Some things. There's a lot of trouble in this room.
Hello, Abraham. It's been a while. It's interesting, the last thing that you said, and I'd like to get into that. I started following your material, I guess about 10 years ago, and I spoke with you frequently, and for a while I was a testimonial. You know, my health, my business, my net worth, everything just went like this. And then a few years ago, one by one, they just started kind of flattening out and then going down a little. It's not bad, but it's not like what it was before, sort of effortless and just flowing. What were the thoughts that I was thinking that made that happen?
We will help you sort that out. But before we do, we want to remind you that it is always an asking that is the beginning of new desires. And so when you first came into awareness of this conversation about creating your own reality in the way that we are presenting it here, you were like most people in that you had many desires that were not feeling to you like they were controllable. It's like when you pull the slingshot back, the further back you pull it, when you let go of it, the further your rock goes. And so with most of you, you had a lot of things bubbling in your vortex that had been bubbling there for a long time that you were not aware of. That's what we were just saying today. You were not aware of them. And once you began applying some of the softening of resistance techniques that we were offering, you became the realizer of more and more and more of them, and the allower of more and more and more of them. But it is so helpful that life causes you to keep putting more and more and more things, material, basis for creation, back into the vortex. And so recently we've been talking, we'll just give a little recap for the benefit of people that may not have heard it, and then we're going to tell you something new that we know you've also heard, but it's important to this conversation. So step one is life causes you to ask, and when you ask, it is given every time. So you ask and it's given, but it's given in this vibrational vortex version that we were talking about, where even though it's been given, you don't know that it's been given, you don't know that it's in there, you don't know that it's been given, because you can't yet see it, hear it, taste it, and touch it, and smell it, and so forth. And that's where you were when we first met. Not completely, but a lot of things were at that state. Step 1 and 2 then ask. Step 2 is it's given. It becomes a vibrational reality. Step 3 is you have to find some way to be a vibrational match to what's in there. So when you do that, then those things begin manifesting into your experience. Lately we've been talking about step 4. Step 4 is you become a master of what we were talking about here today. Staying in the receptive mode, not letting the condition control the way you feel. Not letting the condition control the way you feel. It's so easy to observe and then to conjure a vibration based upon what you're observing, and that's not mastery, because you've done step 1 and step 2, but unless you are able to hold yourself in a good feeling place. Esther had such an interesting week because she has a new house in Utah. It's a beautiful house up on a hill. It's a literal castle. She was so happy about the idea of buttons or castles, and she thought, I like castles way more than buttons. So this big old house, it's an old house, it's a beautiful house, but when they went to service the air conditioners, there are 10 heaters and air conditioner units up in these big attics. Some of them were so broken they needed to be turned off because they might kill you. So over a period of months, all of those air conditioning and heating units were replaced, and Esther is thinking, I should have known about that. But then she thought, if I knew all the things that were wrong with this house, I would not have bought it. And I'm so glad that I bought it, because there isn't anything about it that can't be fixed. But there was a little bit of doubting herself. What's wrong with me? Shouldn't I find a house that's perfect? It looked perfect, it just wasn't. So then when the people were looking for the air conditioning situation, they noticed that there were some leaks in the attic. Now these are big attics. You could live up there. You could all live up there. And so when they get looking on this big, very peaked roof, the membrane between the outer tile and the wood roof is almost completely rotted away. So it needs a new roof, a great big new roof. So they bring cranes in, and they bring big trucks in, and they break the driveway with the big cranes. And Esther began thinking and saying, 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward, because it just seemed like she was never going to get to the end of all of that. But then things started going, and Esther started relaxing, and she acknowledged that it's an old house. And then she remembered something that Jerry told her every single day. We're just molding it into place. It's the process. So then Esther thinks about all the nice people she's getting to meet, and how much fun she's having making decisions, and how much more beautiful the new roof is because she got to choose a roof that looked the way she wanted it to look. The color was better for her. And so now she's almost ready to invite some of you to come and play with her in some special seminars in this wonderful, beautiful place that she really thinks you'll really like it when you get there. And then she got a call yesterday that the new roof is leaking. The new roof took months to put it up and cost is leaking. How can that be? I teach the science of deliberate creation. How can this be happening to me? So Esther says, well, we just have to do whatever we need to do. And so they begin looking, and they find that not only is it leaking, there are big chimneys. There are 17 fireplaces in the house, and they're big chimneys. She shouldn't have bought it, should she? No, she And the chimneys are stucco on the outside, and apparently they're absorbing water, and it's not the roof, it's sort of around the base of those. And so they're going to figure it out, and another really nice company is coming to help her with some really fantastic new thing that they're going to spray all over the house in order to stop it from leaking. And so Esther is thinking, well, it's just thoughts turning to things, and everything's coming into place. And then she got a call from someone who is overlooking her place in Del Mar. And they said during the storm the other night, a big tree blew over. Didn't cause any damage. It was right where her van that she just bought was sitting. And then Esther thought, I was going to leave that van right there. And then all of a sudden one morning I